What is going on, everybody? This is episode 144 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I'm disheveled and out of breath. I'm here with my co-host because we are off to a great start today. Please introduce yourself.
What's up, crisis actors? It's Mary.
See? Having a great day.
We are having a fantastic day.
Starting out so organized right now. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I'm just trying so hard not to cough right now.
She's working on it. Feel free to go ahead and cough. I will throw it back to me and to our guest host for today. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Hello, you beautiful people on the internet. My name is Dane. I'm the marketing man extraordinaire and the patron saint of White Boy Summer.
Did you say beautiful people on the RRO?
On the internet.
Oh, okay, on the internet. Okay, that's where they are. They're on the internet. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Okay, now you're just making fun of him.
No,
Yeah, dude, what the hell?
That was mean. That's not. Stop calling me out. It's not nice.
It wasn't me, it was Mary.
That's
And thank you, Mary.
I'm sorry. I'm ruining the vibe.
No, don't be. Don't be.
we got. I have no idea. We got a bunch of
What's
stuff to
on
talk
the
about
docket, Brett?
What is on the docket today? We had a bunch of stuff to talk about. So we're gonna talk about Lightyear flopping at the box office badly, like really badly, like way more than I thought it was gonna flop, which was really, say that again. Heck
yeah.
Mary's very happy about that. We got that. We got Dane wants to talk about Diablo Immortals.
Hey, I do.
Yep, and microtransactions, which is always kind of an interesting topic. One that actually anybody can talk about, really. It's actually kind of a fascinating thing. But we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about Ezra Miller, of course, because I'm hoping that this might be maybe the last time for a while until maybe the next thing we hear is like Ezra Miller is like actually gets caught.
But that's what we say every time, and it's
Yeah,
never
it's like-
true.
It never
so
happens.
let's just stop hoping.
I can hope. What
We
do I
just
have if not hope?
despair.
I think next week it'll be like Ezra Miller is like literally doing arson. Like it's got like
That would be better than the reality of it.
Truly.
I'd rather he commits arson.
Yes,
Yeah.
as long as nobody gets hurt, right? We got that. We got Podlock. We got a bunch of other stuff. So if you two are distracted but also ready, we will just get right into it. Mary, are we ready?
We're ready.
Dane, are you ready?
I'm very much both.
All right, let's do this. So it says Disney Pixar's Lightyear, huge flop at the box office, which is very, very true. It only made It made $55 million over the entire 4-day weekend. That's the projected. So it did not even beat Jurassic World Dominion, which is in its second week, and this is a Pixar movie.
I don't understand what they were hoping for with this, because where was the demand?
For
a spin-off based on a toy, based on somebody who doesn't exist.
There's actually, to be completely fair, Toy Story 4 made $1 billion at the box office, despite the fact that nobody needed
Really?
nobody needed Toy Story 4.
That?
It was in 2019. Like, it would have been like they got lucky. It was like summer right before pandemic happened.
Yeah.
So they got very lucky with that. But I think the question will end up being like, why? Why did this happen? How did they miscalculate as badly as they did?
Because it's not the story that people liked.
Exactly.
It's just, this is why we've been saying, stop with the spin-offs, just come up with something new.
Which they'll never do. So it says Disney's Pixar's Lightyear appears to be a huge flop at the weekend box office, with estimates have dropped by at least by as much as 35% in a day. So the original estimated opening weekend for this was 75 to 105 million, and it barely cracked 50 million, which is insane.
And when I was looking at conversations about this, they were saying that like when you add up the actual cost of production with the cost of like toys and marketing,
350 to 500 million.
they might barely make it over that. Barely.
This movie might
make a
actually be.
profit.
This movie might not profit. Like at
I
a
hope
cost
it doesn't.
Of 200 million was the budget for this. So if you take the rule of like 1.5 times the budget, you're looking at for the marketing, it's about you're looking at about 350 million all in before toys and all that stuff. So the film alone needs to make at least 350. It needs to make more than that because they don't share. They don't keep 100% of the box office profits. They keep I don't remember. Disney has a different negotiation with theaters than other companies. They might keep 60% of the box office. So they're not even going to keep they don't keep 100% of whatever the movie makes. So say if we looked at this number and they made 55 million here in the US this weekend, they don't keep all 55 million.
Is there
barely half of
something
that.
particularly reprehensible of this movie? Like, what would be
I feel weirdly like principled about watching this movie crash and burn because it's just another thing where like we're gonna take this this movie that was special to a lot of children, and then we're gonna like make a cheap spin-off of it, and then also add our woke messaging into it, and you can just like take it and be happy.
Yep.
But clearly people aren't into it, and it sucks.
Yep. And it made $55 million domestic, so it made about $84 million.
Yeah, and other people were also saying, oh, the massive, this was like the PSYOP headlines, the massive success of Lightyear shows that the China box office is so irrelevant.
Was there a headline that said that?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, I didn't send it to you because I knew that you would just go into a tailspin.
My favorite part is like whenever these companies, whenever the news outlets, they cover for for Disney whenever something like this happens, meaning like everyone knows that they didn't want to make $55 to $85 million worldwide. They wanted to make $100 million just here in the United States because they cut out 12 markets.
And they're only making me more pro CCP by the minute.
Well, actually, and the funny thing is, Jurassic World. You know, I'm not a fan of our movies playing over in China, but Jurassic World Dominion is like the highest grossing movie over there in a long time. Mm-hmm. So,
did you guys watch this?
No, we didn't even like. It was such an afterthought that we didn't even go to see it. Like, I had no interest in.
You
in
suggested it, and I
never got back. She basically never got back to me.
I didn't want to see it because I mean that would make us part of the problem.
It's a little bit different because this is what we do for work.
I know.
But you're right.
But money is money, and I hate these people.
Putting your money where your mouth is absolutely right. So it says the spin-off from the Toy Story universe fell short of insider projections in the domestic debut, collecting a lackluster $51 million domestic from 4,255 North American theaters. So if you go over here and you look at the box office breakdown, Jurassic World Dominion brought in $58 million. Now that was a 3-day weekend, not the 4-day weekend. So the 4-day weekend was $68 million. And then we get 50, and it ended up being $58 million. So there was a 60% drop off in the Jurassic World Dominion box office from week 1 to week 2. And the best part about this is Top Gun Maverick only fell 15%. And still made $48 million this weekend, and almost beat Lightyear in its first weekend. And Top Gun Maverick is in its 4th weekend.
Very happy about Top Gun Maverick. Not as favorable to Jurassic World Dominion.
Yes,
because I feel like that franchise was already just like absolutely trashed with. What was it? 6 movies by that point.
Then we have to ask the question: why is it that Jurassic World Dominion, which is also an unnecessary sequel, is making all the money? And
maybe unnecessary, but not as poorly thought out, because I think it's really just like this evil impulse they have to, like, these movie producers have to take something specifically from people's childhoods and twist it into something, like wrap it in a bow.
I have some theories.
And you can make the argument that they didn't actually change much about Jurassic World.
So do people like Chris Evans?
I mean, I'm not a fair person to ask about that.
Simp tweets about how, ever since he started like going off on like China and like, you know, all the homophobic haters.
Yeah.
Like they were wow, Chris Evans is like, what a guy. Like
that wasn't necessarily just about China. That was about like
him and Tom Hanks.
Yeah. So we have that article here which says Chris Evans, homophobic Lightyear critics are idiots who will die off like dinosaurs. It is ironic that they were beat out by a dinosaur movie this weekend after making that comment. But my point here is that why is that? Because what he's talking about when he's talking about this is this movie got banned in like Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, yes, and as well as Qatar, all these Middle Eastern countries.
Why?
Because of there's
two female characters.
Both is gay.
Kissed.
No,
thankfully they didn't do that to Lightyear.
So the question here is, why is it not xenophobic for him to say this, but it's...
I think we're seeing things actively butt heads. Like the interests of this like ideological lobby are openly butting heads in the entertainment sector. Because you're finding out that like it's actually cultural imperialism to force your ideas onto the rest of the world. Yep. Like American values onto the rest of the world, whether those have always been in America or whether they're new.
Which is funny because those same people would then decry imperialism and any type of colonial behavior. But then when they think they're right, it's okay.
Yeah, you're seeing the conflict come out of the woodwork in real time.
Yep.
and they're really they're making comments like this that they're not internally consistent.
And here's something interesting also. The movie doesn't have a horrible audience score on Rotten. I don't care about the critics score. Even the critics didn't seem to... This movie has a higher audience score than critics score. And it still did...
Interesting.
It has an 85%.
Well, really, I feel like people are just bringing their kids to this, like, sit down and shut up for a couple hours
because it's summer and my gosh, yeah. So that was the most interesting part to me. Is I thought with a budget or with a box office like that, we would either see the typical really high critic score with really low audience score, which would kind of make the turnout make sense. But we're not. It seems that the people who are going to see it aren't necessarily unhappy with it. Most people that I talked to just said it was meh.
But like, I think so? Okay, hear me out. So when I was a kid, I saw Toy Story 1, and as a result, like every other Toy Story, I was like, Mom, Dad, please, like the kids this generation, I don't think they have that unless like they've watched Toy Story on DVDs like the other ones.
Yeah, but 4 just came out in 2019, like I said, and made $1 billion.
I think it's one of those things like Nemo where
who
like
went to watch
everyone's
4, though?
seen it.
But well,
not children.
Thank you.
I think it's
that's
like,
a good. That's a fair. Like I don't know what the demographic breakdown was of 4.
Like I'm thinking 4 is like millennials, like mid cope, like strongly mid cope is like, oh my god, what happened to the toys? Like it's like they, And
another interesting part about this is, as I think a lot of people, whether I tend to not try to look too hard into this, like with my own lens of like, did they replace typically conservative Tim Allen with
Is he?
Yeah, oh yeah. Tim Allen is a Hollywood conservative. Did they replace typically conservative Tim Allen with very progressive Chris Evans, literally just as an FU?
I mean, one of the things I'm sure that has to do with why this is flopping is they literally changed Buzz Lightyear's face. Like his face as his toy is a completely different person. His voice is a completely different person, and now. Even like the animation style that I saw for the other human characters is, I think, like rather ugly. I don't like how like the direction that animation is going.
It's also said to be a far more adult-focused movie. Like it's not really humorous. It's more of like an adventure story.
Yeah.
So it's like I think there's we're quick to point out like get woke, go broke, but I think it could just be it was poorly created from the get-go. It's poorly marketed.
Yeah.
You don't really, who are you trying to reach here?
Something they mistakenly thought was bound to succeed.
Dude,
they've got the little cat, the socks, which is very clearly marketed towards kids because it's supposed to sell toys.
Yeah.
But then the movie seems to be vaguely adult in theme. So it's just poorly done. I don't know if it's a situation of get woke, go broke.
This is like let's appeal to a mass audience. And when you do that, you get no one. Dude, it happens every time. And like, for an example, like this is happening so much in video games. Like just like a brief, just like an example. There's a particular genre of video games that's very hard. Fighting games. Fighting games are very, very difficult. And over time, they keep trying to make them more simpler. And what people don't get is that people don't play fighting games because they hate losing, and even if it's easier, they're gonna lose anyway. So like appealing to the mass is never gonna work because the mass doesn't want it.
Yeah.
The mass doesn't want the feeling that's associated with your game, and it's like so. Here, like they like wokeified it. They got a new guy, and it's adventure. It's for adults and for kids and for everyone in between. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
There is not a subject that's like besides pizza that's like universally loved. There just isn't.
I gotta push back on that just a tiny
Sure.
bit because I do believe
Backstreet Boys.
Exactly, perfect.
There we go.
So there, Miss Marvel came out, and basically what it is like this show is very much not made for, like you're talking about specific, like by making it for everyone, they make it for no one.
Yeah.
Miss Marvel was made for a very specific audience and did horrible numbers, and this is why I put in the headline. I put that they failed on multiple, that Disney is failing on multiple fronts right now, and that is that Miss Marvel reportedly opens to the lowest premiere viewership numbers of any Disney Plus Marvel show, and basically what they say is their big this is what their big marketing thing was. They say 775,000 households watched the premiere of Miss Marvel, and it says U.S. households watched the premiere while less than any other MCU show. It was a hit with Gen Z viewers. 20 to 24 watched it at the highest rates of any MCU show, and it drew more diverse audiences. Thank you. And it drew more diverse audiences with Black, Hispanic, Asian households watching at a higher rate. But here's the problem. That may be true, but then you look at what the numbers for Loki were, which it debuted to 2.5 million, not 775,000. So there is something to be said that when you segment it off, and from what I've heard, I've talked to a lot of people who say Miss Marvel isn't necessarily bad. It's just formulaic and very much a teenage girl show. Nobody my age would watch it.
Yeah. Is it for teenage girls?
It's for teenage girls.
Or is it for like grown adult women who are kind of stuck in adolescence?
Then there's the argument that then there's the discussion we've had multiple times about the kind of the infantilization of our adults now. Like when Jay-Z made 30's the new 20, what he forgot to point out was that once you are 20, then you feel like you are permanently stuck in that age. A lot of these people feel like they're stuck in their early 20s or their teens for also, a lot of years.
I mean,
Sorry.
Everything I've seen about like the Miss Marvel trailer has been absolutely embarrassing. Like it's like a all shucks superheroes. Like, what are you doing, dude?
For what?
I mean,
like everything I've seen about Miss Marvel is her like, oh my god, I'm a superhero and I can't possibly comprehend why. It's like, well, I don't want to watch you if you don't even know. Why should I care?
But the point is that that could strike a chord with a younger female audience who feels similarly displaced or as if they don't know who they are.
I mean, as every woman, I'm telling you, I don't identify.
I haven't watched it, so I can't pass a judgment on it. But like word on the street is there's been some really stupid dialogue, and also they've openly used the term Latinx, which we all know is annoying. Okay.
So that to me, like the reviewers,
burn it with fire.
There are reviewers that I trust to give like more like even-handed opinions, and the ones who there's a guy who has a channel called Thorius Unlimited who I really like his reviews of stuff, and he just kind of says it's like a lot of the dialogue is just kind of cringy, and the pacing is off, but it's just very clearly not for. I'm not going to be the target audience to watch it, but they're missing the mark again. And it just goes to show, it's like when they stop appealing to mass audiences. Now, this is what I'm saying. Marvel and these companies used to appeal to normies and regular people, and they keep looking for what are called phantom audiences, right? They feel that they're going to grow their market share by finding these phantom audiences of people that it would be like, Mary, it would be like a bunch of like female makeup tutorial YouTubers being like, I'm going to get the straight white male phantom audience that's just never going to show up for that.
I don't
it's
care.
just not there because it's just culturally it's not relevant to what they're doing. And you can say for any number of reasons why that is, but it's just you're fighting a losing battle.
Spoiler alert. Women only watch superhero movies out of the kindness of their heart and the love for their men.
Or to see...
Be it brother, father, boyfriend, whatever.
Or to see Chris Evans or Jason Momoa without a shirt on.
They can Google that now. Like I was going to say, like they're not going to... spend $12.
I disagree about that. I do think that there's a segment that do go watch it because they like the characters.
Are there some Marvel soy girls out there watching?
There are plenty of.
Let us know.
3.
Okay, let me finish. There are females who love these genres, but it's not such a huge segment. I'm guessing that the constant need to push the marketing in that direction has proven over time that it's not strong enough to withstand the same thing that your typically male adult audience, which is held on for a long time. Now, Dane, you're in marketing. You understand that as your audience ages, it is natural to start looking for younger customers?
I mean, sure, but like, listen, the thing is, like, you should know who you generally interest. And if you, like, people enter and leave, age brackets all the time. So what I'm saying is, like, if you generally interest, like, 25 to, like, let's say, like, 45-year-olds.
Yeah.
A fresh batch of 25-year-olds are going to be born, you know what I'm saying? Born next year. Like, you don't start making, like, teeny boppers. You don't start putting, like, Justin Bieber songs and be like, baby, baby, baby.
Well, also, I feel
buy a razor.
I feel like a lot of the younger audience that they're looking for are probably busy with video games and other media that didn't grow up with comics, that don't care about these characters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It is strange that they're going for this one size fits all approach.
It's not real. It's not real. And dude, like, I'm telling you, it's just some idiot that's literally like, hey guys, I just pulled the stats in. Stats say that we're 67% 30-year-old males, and I find that problematic. Let's do something that completely doesn't appease at least demographic. And everyone's like, yeah, we're going to be the people that do it. And they never do.
All the shows that Marvel have done that did fairly well in opening were all had characters that were tangentially connected to the original movies, which means normies. Regular people, nobody, like, well, as much as they want to claim, regular people don't know who Miss Marvel is. They don't. They might know who Captain Marvel is now, but they don't know who Riri Williams is. They don't know who any of these characters that were created in the all new Marvel in like 2015.
And it's certainly not teenage girls who know who these people are. Who,
oh my God.
Who know who Riri Williams is, who America Chavez.
Yep.
The list could go on. They don't care. This is like, and it's almost weirder that way. Like, why do adult, like, all these old millennials like want to see teenage girls superheroes?
The infantilization
of
our adults.
If I told my 19-year-old sister, "Hey, did you watch Miss Marvel?" She'd be like, "Are you calling me a freaking dork?" Like she'd
insulting.
Be so insulted. She'd be like, "Who the hell do you think I am?"
There is a fair argument to be made that they're putting the show out on Wednesdays the same week at the same time that Obi-Wan Kenobi is coming out. I don't know how much that actually matters.
As direct competition to
that's what these articles are saying, that somehow that Obi-Wan Kenobi is competition because they operate in the same sort of
I've
genre
never heard
circles.
two more irrelevant things in my life.
So yeah,
in the same sentence.
Well, it is what it is. So there's some super chats. So let's go to super chats.
Johnny Beck, I believe, gave us a thumbs up.
Thank you.
Waffle Sensei said Chris Evans played an iconic Steve Rogers, and I'll always appreciate that work. But I can separate the actor from the character, and Evans is trash.
I've gotten better since we started doing this at separating the art from the artist because I'm being forced to watch more new stuff. I never had a problem watching old stuff and separating art from the artist because for me, like when I'm watching something that I've seen before, there's sense memory like connected to the time when I watched it before I knew what they were like on Twitter or something like that. Now you kind of have to, like, I know Jeff Bridges is fairly annoying in everyday life if I remember correctly, and I'm watching this show called The Old Man, which is fantastic, and I'm enjoying that a lot, and you'd have to separate art from artist when you're watching that. So that just takes some getting used to. But Chris Evans is definitely not the easiest person to... Like, I'm excited to see. He's got a movie coming out called The Gray Man, which I'm extremely excited to watch.
Joseph said, to Mary's point, culture is someone else's operating system. Think for yourself. Dances with Wolves is a great movie highlighting this. Haven't seen it.
We'll watch.
Should I go see it?
Well, I don't think you can go see it. You'll have to buy. It's like a VHS. We'll watch it on VHS.
VHS,
yes,
huh?
We'll watch it on VHS here. It's great.
Oh, boy.
I think Chris Evans is like tapioca pudding. It's not bad, but like if you're gonna have like a cheat dessert, like it's not gonna be tapioca pudding. You're gonna have a brownie or something.
Okay then. All right. Chris Evans is tapioca pudding. I would have never gone there. Excellent.
There we go.
It's sort of like when I said, who did I say was like a banana nut muffin?
Me.
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, I thought it was me.
It's all the Chris's.
They're all banana nut muffins.
K for 2X said, Drew, who is that?
Drew, you must be Drew.
It's like all of the names that start with D are the same.
Except for Dane.
Did you watch Miss Marvel's second episode? Much better.
That's at least from the reviews that I saw said that the second episode is much better. I have no interest in watching. Like I said, I'm watching The Old Man right now. Go watch episode 1 and 2 of The Old Man on Hulu.
There's only so much time in the day.
Yeah.
If I'm Drew, no.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Halls and the Kids said, Happy Dane Day, everybody. Also, superhero movies are dumb.
Not all of them, but a great everyone
Love
here.
Wham and Solidarity.
Yes.
They are dumb.
Everyone here, go on HBO Max and watch the original Blade right now. That is your homework if you have not seen the original Blade. First of all,
I'm a Zoomer. I'm like, are you talking about Drain Gang?
It's got Wesley Snipes in it. Automatic bonus. Automatically good. And then it's got vampires. It's great. You have to go watch it. It's got all the industrial music that could ever remind you of the 90s. It's incredible. Go watch it when you're done with this podcast today. Of course.
Do you have another one?
Yep.
Oh, Caper2X said, and Dane, you're still the cutest PR of us all.
I'm assuming that means Puerto Rican.
Thank you.
Does it mean public relations?
You're the
Puerto Rican. You're the public relations Puerto Rican. PR.
I appreciate that.
He's also going to be the one that's going to talk about Diablo for us.
You sound like a handsome man yourself.
Oh, well, thank you.
I'm so ready for Dane to geek out again. Let's
All right, Dane. So I'll just give him the headline for the article first. It says Diablo Immortal's microtransactions have made it $24 million in 2 weeks.
Yeah, okay, so this one isn't going to be as much of a geek out as an open conversation. So Diablo is like the old school game where like, hello, my name is X and I play Diablo. And like people like legitimately that play this game would play like 12 hours straight every day. Why did they play that much, Dane? I'm glad you asked. So Diablo was a game where like items, really good items, were famously hard to get because you'd get them by essentially defeating the same enemy over and over again, and the probability that it would drop the item you wanted was like fractions of a percentage.
Yeah.
But if then you were like the stud who had the sword of whatever, then you were the stud that had the sword of whatever. And so Diablo 1 and 2 were like very much like that. And then came Diablo 3, and they kind of acknowledged that the game had like a underground economy where people would sell accounts with incredibly rare weapons.
Is that where like the idea for microtransactions? I mean, I'm not the idea, but it's
no.
But that's a concept that makes sense.
That's like the black market that developed amongst gamers. And there's a genre of video games that's called MMORPG, massively multiplayer online role-playing game. Yep. I know, ladies.
How do you guys know that?
I know, ladies in the audience,
don't
please
run,
keep
don't
up
They're
with me.
just hot and bothered right now.
I know, we're gonna talk about money, okay? Listen up, it's gonna get good.
All right.
I know. Stick with me, darling. So
We can do this.
So the thing is, so people would legitimately spend thousands upon thousands of dollars for this fake internet sword, and then the third game came, and you could basically sell with in-game currency that you could buy more of. You could sell these weapons, and there was like a stock market. Now they've pretty much cut out the middleman, and it's like, hey, you know, we're making like a bunch of different packages where you can pay to win, which is like the concept. And despite this being a game where the culture was like, I'm gonna grind forever because why wouldn't I, and get my rare items, but people are like, F that, I got money.
I have never progressed out of the idea that you just, when you pay $60 for a game, $55, $60, $70 for a game, that you don't get the full game in that price.
Oh, Brett. Listen,
it does seem like a total scam.
It is I think this is like not, I mean, it's an egregious case because like for sure.
Just infinite pay pigs.
No, but this
forever.
is like.
Excellent use of pay pigs. You don't hear that very much on
you
regular
can grind
podcasts.
for 3 months or, you know, give me $10 and we're solid. Wink, wink. And so like that's a pretty good deal. But there's some companies like Electronic Arts, which is literally the most hated company in the world. Like literally has the worst audience score of all time. And they have these things that they've popularized. Sorry, everyone. I'm Latinx. The things they call loot boxes, where like you buy it and you get random items, and you just spend $50 and you didn't get what you want.
Basically gambling.
Basically
gambling.
And like,
I know like some YouTubers have even gotten in trouble for promoting these loot boxes because they're promoting gambling to actual children.
To children,
legitimately that. I had a friend that played the FIFA game, and I thought that you know you bought the game and you came with the players, and it's like, no, daddy-o, like you have to buy like
thank you
a soccer player and like the year they were good, and I was like, bro, what? It's like a stock market for like soccer players, absolutely. Yep. And when it gets to that point, I think it's super dumb. Well, so yeah, that's the conversation. Like, where do you guys see this trend going?
I think it's hilarious to me because the whole concept of video games was to like grow skill level, and like obviously I'm coming from it from an old school video game perspective. Like I can't imagine playing Contra or Ninja Gaiden and like the ability to like buy something to help make the game easier for it, because video games on those old systems were literally so freaking difficult that the whole point was that it was very, very. I mean, I asked my dad recently on Father's Day. I talked to him. I was like, "Hey, so think you could mail me any of my old video games?" I broke down and I asked him. I was like, "Can you?" Because I was like, I got an urge to play Castlevania, the original Castlevania.
Oh, no. That game rules.
And he's like, yes, but now I feel bad like having him mail out there. I can't imagine being able to buy my way through Castlevania or buy my way through Double Dragon.
I mean, most games aren't like that. Like the way that most games get you now in terms of money is that hey, so you get the full game, but we got these extra chapters that you get once you beat the game, and you got to pay $15 extra.
Do you think that this might be because the new generation of gamers is like zero attention span, all about instant gratification?
Dane?
I think truly it's, by the way, sorry, it's just, I'm doing
He's
my
working here.
I think truly it's because game development is like way too expensive. Like, because now every video game has to look like a S tier title for people to like even give a damn.
Is it also partially because in most of those transactions are like aesthetic stuff?
Dude, I think so. The aesthetic stuff is the things I vibe with. For like, for example, I play a lot of fighting games, and you know, I get tired of looking at Chun-Li look the same way. And it's like, I pick color purple because I like the color purple. And if someone picks my color, I'm furious. Like, that's the color I want to pick. So if I could get like a different outfit with the same color, I'm like, okay, well, I can easily identify that that's my character, right?
Because no more Laura Bailey voicing Chun-Li.
Okay.
Thank God I hated her voice.
That, it would be like women who are more interested in like curating the aesthetics
maybe
in games,
you know,
like getting all the skins and everything.
I dated a girl that played League of Legends, and like that's what she do. She like dress up all her gals.
Okay, I know nothing about video games, so like obviously I got questions. Why is EA hated?
Because of the,
and what are its competitors that aren't as hated?
I mean, the competitors that are not as hated is pretty much every other video game company. But, like, they're hated because, the loot box thing, which is, like, very pernicious. They basically...
How is that legal? Like, I don't understand how that's legal when they're literally, like, 12-year-olds.
They've tried to regulate in other states.
And I think, like, they're famously known for, like, their incredibly, like, inhospitable work hours as well. I mean, there's a lot of companies that are known for that. But I think like they were the first, and they've just like, they're famous for making the same game over and over and over again, and then saying like it's today's version of the game and it's buggy and it doesn't work. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but like ultimately, I think the loot boxes, like it's a scam. Like I'm telling you, people are paying like $1,000. And not getting what they want.
Basically, I don't want to get hated for saying this, but like, isn't that basically just NFTs?
No, because with NFT, like
NFTs,
you're paying for what you're gonna get. It's like if I'm gonna get an NFT of Mary doing like kawaii, whatever. Like I'm paying for like the picture of you doing kawaii. Here's like you're paying $500 for the chance
that something good could be in there.
But the NFTs I feel are the same way, where you're like buying something for its later on projected value so that you can sell it.
No, but like,
and then buy a new milady.
Yeah, but you know what
you're gonna get.
Buying.
Here is like maybe you'll get it.
No, it's just like a total gamble.
Yeah, it's a total
gamble.
Honestly,
I don't think that many people buying NFTs actually know what they're buying.
I know, right?
They can't explain it very well, so it doesn't seem like it's that different of a situation in my eyes. But I guess I'm ignorant about both. So.
Guys, if you're in chat and you're into NFTs, follow me on Twitter. Like, I'll de-radicalize you. Like, I'll try my best. I'll be very loving. I'll take my time. But, like, you need Jesus in your life and a friend.
This is what it was. It was the Belgian Gaming Commission ruled that the implementation of them in games breached multiple gambling laws in the country. That was the story that I was thinking about.
It's literally like children using their dad's credit card on the computer who have no supervision. Like,
so let me explain.
Hella illegal.
Let me try to explain loot boxes in a different way. Okay. Let's say it's an alternate dimension, and this alternate dimension, Mary likes Marvel movies.
Okay, I'm trying to imagine it.
That is horrifying.
I am
too. Horrifying.
I know. I don't like her. I'm just saying.
I'm like a Marvel soy girl.
Right,
Like,
yeah,
going to the release dates.
Just getting character.
Can't wait to watch Riri Williams, guys.
And then
yes, queen.
and you're
Pray.
and you're watching, I don't know, Black Panther 15, like Hello Wakanda. And
Hello,
then
Good morning, Wakanda.
The movie guy is like, hey, give me $50 and you maybe will see the trailer to the next movie. And you're like, sure, you pay him $50 and then you just see the same movie you just saw. And you're like, hey, I didn't see the trailer. Like, pay me $50 and you'll get another shot. And you just saw, like, you know what I'm saying?
Not gonna lie, I feel like if this was implemented in the real world, some people actually would
Probably.
do that. They would
People
actually, because
are
they sit
losing
there through
thousands.
like 15 credit scenes waiting for the post-credit scenes that don't actually have anything to do with the next story.
That
Baby
you could
girl,
just go
people
and
are
watch
losing
after.
That are
thousands.
just like some stupid one-liner from, I don't even know any of these actors' names, but like they literally do that. They gamble with their own time to watch these stupid post-credit scenes.
I don't know this for a fact. I just heard it from like by a bro back in the master's degree. By the way, I'm a master, so like I'm basically freaking.
So he's basically a
liberal
genius,
god.
guys.
We defer to him now,
Yeah.
always.
As you should. And he was like the top tier in the rankings all pay like $20,000 a year. Could you
What?
imagine $20,000 for a hobby, bro?
No. I
No.
cannot.
Is this
Let's
basically
not.
a pyramid scheme but for men?
It's
I see, like,
abuse. It's like
Mary
women
Kay
are,
for men.
Yeah, the women are doing the Mary Kay, the beauty counter, the vitamins, and then men are doing loot boxes.
it's like less
Thank
dignified
you.
gambling.
Thank you.
Less dignified gambling. So it says the U.S. accounted for 26% of all global downloads and 43% of all the previously mentioned revenue. Speaking of revenue, South Korea is in second place with 23%, and Japan takes third with 8%. The impressive numbers, now this is of the $24 million that they made in microtransactions. These impressive numbers, we kind of got off track. We were talking about loot boxes, but not about necessarily microtransactions as a
I mean,
whole.
they get into it now.
Yes, it says these impressive numbers were achieved despite many players being upset about the implementation of Diablo Immortal's microtransactions. Certain players have complained about Immortal's best loot seemingly being very difficult to get without spending a lot of money, and even then, that loot isn't guaranteed. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
In our Diablo Immortal review in progress, we said, I've only just started on my Diablo Immortal journey, but I like what I've played so far. Is this from IG? That's why it's from IGN. And it's from IGN. The combat feels potent and weighty, with plenty of skills options for building out rounded and fun combat approaches. The story moves along at a brisk pace, opening up new zones steadily, with many characters' progression systems ensured that I felt like I was always making progress and growing more powerful. That seems fairly measured in what they said. It says, and with more than 20 hours of microtransaction-free gameplay behind me, there's clearly a lot of content to enjoy before you need to consider spending money. So there's very much a lot of game you can try before you buy.
So, like, I mean, this sounds to me like a healthy, well-adjusted person, right? But there's also people like me who are not either, and you know, they're like tryhards, and like they not only wanna beat the game, they wanna beat the game and be like like the Rock in the game. You know what I'm saying? They wanna be jacked, and like these people, you know, again, like sometimes it's like 1% like likely drop rate. Sometimes it's fractions of a percent. So it's incredibly unlikely that you'll get the item that you want.
There's a comment here that says the fact that it can take roughly $110,000 to max out a single character is absurd. That's $110,000 per character,
insane.
not a count. That's the reason the Netherlands and Belgium banned microtransactions and loot boxes. The game is banned in those countries because of it. That's a lot, you know?
It's insane.
Monetize.
And by the way, like I used to play card games, you know, where like you would buy a box and
Thank you.
it would also be like, hey, you don't know what you're gonna get. But in the digital versions of the game, like in order to like kind of like not appease to those sites, they made it so like if you get the whole like digital box, you are guaranteed at least one copy of every card.
Okay.
So it's like it's expensive, but you will get it.
I suppose at a certain point, would you consider like people that collected Pokemon cards? Is that a form of gambling that you buy the card pack? If you're looking for a specific card.
But it does have perspective value.
Yeah.
And you are taking a gamble.
It
If
does.
you're looking for a specific card, yeah. Like,
I mean, if you're looking for a specific card, like, you're gambling.
Yeah.
But, like, if it's like how they're doing it now, that if you buy the case and, like, you're absolutely gonna get one, then it's not gambling. You're just purchasing.
Yeah. All right, Mary, there's some microtransactions there.
That's what we'll call them now.
Yes.
Thank
you for microtransactioning.
Joe Duraki, a.k.a. Jay Dizzle, said, sorry, I'm 20 minutes behind on the show. Lightyear was so meh. Utterly forgettable. The kiss was so quick. I would have missed it if it wasn't so overhyped.
The funny thing about that is it makes me think of like what you'll eventually get in when you get these types of scenes is they start with the what do they call it? They call it queer baiting. Like literally where it's like you make it they make it seem like it's going to be a big deal, but then you don't actually see it for that long. Like if they had never mentioned it, most people wouldn't have even thought twice about it. They wouldn't have cared. But they have to make a big deal about it because Hollywood has to make a big deal about everything that they believe is some type of weird virtue signal.
Well, to be fair, the conversation was more so started because they were getting blocked from all these countries.
And remember,
and I think fair enough.
Hollywood is a crackhead addicted to virtue signaling. Very much so.
Waffle Sensei said, EA became particularly infamous with the new Battlefront 2. The loot boxes contained actual move sets and abilities that you needed in order to perform well in PvP. Kids had to gamble to play the game.
So this is what. So okay. So let me break that down for like. Thank you, Waffles, my beloved. Let me break that down for like.
Waffles, my beloved. That's what he should change his name to.
Yeah. So PvP means player versus player, and what he's saying is, the best attacks to like compete against your friends were unavailable for free. Thus,
so you had to literally pay for them
for the chance to get them. And then there were these kids that were getting pwned by their like rich friends, and they're like, "Oh, I got skills," and they don't, and like they were getting wrecked.
Bummer.
Javi J said, "As the official treehouse of White Boy Summer, we're at the half-baked treehouse. We at the half-baked treehouse would like to officially recognize the sainthood of Dane as the patron saint of White Boy Summer. YouTube wouldn't let me spell it out for some reason. That's really weird.
Hilarious.
Wouldn't let him spell
White Boy Summer.
What?
Wait, we need some of you to try to super chat us the words White Boy Summer and see if it sends.
It wouldn't let him send White Boy Summer?
Yeah, I think that's why he's...
YouTube is anti-Chet Hanks. Proven.
This is insane.
Dude.
Confirmed.
All the more reason that we need to platform Chet Hanks. Come on the show, Chet. We love you.
Everyone.
You know what my new idea is? I want to take all of Tom Cruise's best movies and remake them with Chet Hanks. I want to see The Green Mile with Chet Hanks.
Guys.
I want to see Toy Story with Chet Hanks, except for he's not playing Woody. He's literally just playing Chet Hanks with Buzz Lightyear next to him. Every Tom Cruise... Forrest Gump, Chet Hanks.
Guys in chat, let me know what you think about not White Boy Summer, about microtransactions, and if there's a lady in chat, tag me because I specifically want to know what you're thinking.
And because just tag him anyways, because tag him.
Sure.
All right, let's move on. We're gonna talk about poor Ezra Miller.
Oh my God, this guy.
His face,
and by poor I mean completely freaking evil.
Look at this picture on the headline. His face is
there
are no thoughts.
Just like
no thoughts.
Okay.
He looks like a little baby.
what was that?
It had a little money fart.
It was like bloop.
It wasn't sure whether it was gonna send that.
It was like I don't know about that one. So it says Ezra Miller out as the Flash. Well, it only took a bunch of channels talking about it endlessly to kind of make the point that maybe you shouldn't platform guys who are like hanging out with 12-year-olds and coming back dressed as a cowboy.
Who trusted this face?
To begin with.
Who trusted that? Those eyes. There's nothing behind them.
So it says, say goodbye to Ezra Miller as the Flash, which follows those recent allegations surrounding the actor's behavior with young girls. Notice how they say young girls and they don't acknowledge the fact that
children.
This keeps happening around. Well, it's not just that. It's that there are other people who also identify as non-binary, which means he's taking advantage of people based on identity, which is even more kind of abhorrent. It says, in Deadline's write-up surrounding the Flash movie, which is similar to my own from yesterday, the site notes that the sources have filled them in that, quote, even if no more allegations surface, the studio likely won't keep Miller in as the Flash in future films. Why would you? When I saw this, I was like, out as the Flash, yay!
Yeah. But then I was like,
Kind of.
after this movie is released. Why?
So what do they do here?
Why?
Like, what this is the idea here is that David Zaslav, who just came in and took over for at Warner Brothers.
Zaslav.
Is that funny?
Is that
I don't know. It's a little bit of a cartoonish name.
Very
Zaslav.
nice to make
Zaslav,
fun of his
Zaslav.
name. Well, David Zaslav.
See, it's funny.
No, it's not. David Zaslav, who took control of Warner Brothers Discovery after the merger. He kind of inherited this problem because Miller's been employed as the Flash since the Justice League got made in like 2017, and they've been trying to make the Flash movie since like 2014, and clearly it's cursed with everything that's going on here.
Dude, the Justice League used to be way cooler than the Avengers.
Oh yeah,
and that's really a testament to how bad Ezra Miller and Ben Affleck are in their roles. Anyway, I just want to say that.
Back to Ben Affleck.
Just want to say that. Is there a problem? Do we got a problem with that?
You're wrong. It's a testament to how bad the studio is at actually getting these things made properly, and it's a testament to how bad they are interfering with their film productions.
Okay,
but it's also it's a testament, I suppose you could say, to the quality of what Marvel was able to create in those early years.
Can chat let Brett know how wrong he is about this? Like, I'm really tired of having this conversation. Like,
Can we settle this once
please.
and for all?
Let's settle this today.
Luckily,
is Ben Affleck the good Batman? Dane Seth, nay.
Luckily, since I'm right and everybody else is wrong, it doesn't really matter. So it's fine. So it says Deadline adds that they have also heard that the studio has tried getting help for Ezra, but troubling headlines continue to pile up, which sounds like it means Miller has rejected the aid of Warner Brothers. I'm starting to think it really does, beyond the fact that he just seems like a psychopath, that a lot of it could be drug related.
Oh yeah.
That there's
that will probably come out later on down the line.
There's a point when you're deep in it, like early on, and you're like still at that stage where you're like in denial that you need help, that he could very much like it seems hard to believe that it could happen to somebody who's responsible for something as big as a $200 million franchise. You'd think that they wouldn't be allowed to be so dumb. But drugs make you dumb. They really do. So it just kind of proves that it affects everyone, no matter whether they have a Joe job making minimum wage or they're responsible as the face of a $200 million franchise. If it is because of drugs and just the fact that he just doesn't seem like a very good person, it affects everyone. So.
Right. It's like the deadly combination of mental illness, drug abuse, and having no moral compass because you don't have people in your life who keep you in check at all.
And an identity that's allowed you to kind of shield yourself from...
It seems like he's like found these children who he wants to seem like a role model in that respect too.
Yep.
That identity respect.
It almost just has no way of no understanding of how you're supposed to go about something like that without sounding like if we were to be charitable and say he's not a creep, he's literally going about it in the worst possible way.
I
ever
mean, the only like seemingly charitable interpretation of these interactions he's had with these young children is that he is like mentally stunted and believes himself to be at the same maturity level as them.
Yeah.
For real.
Yep. So it says, so they talk about here, so there was the case with Dakota Iron Eyes. That is a problem. And then we have the story of the 12-year-old whose family sought in order of protection because he was trying to scoot close to her, and then threatened her mom's friend because she said she didn't understand. He said that she used the term tribe in a way that he didn't approve of and called it cultural appropriation, and then talked about...
Said things could get serious.
And then talked about
talking like that.
The Rastafarian roots of Parcheesi, and it became like literally mental illness Mad Libs, where everything just seems like you picked like a topic out of a hat, and
literally
then he
sounds
does.
written.
And then
it
when
sounds fake.
The first time I read the article, guys, if you haven't, go read the Daily Beast article about it. When it gets to the part at the end where they talk about him coming back dressed as a cowboy, I literally broke down into tears of laughter. Well, being kind of like upset with myself for laughing at something like that, because it's still, I don't know what he's done to anybody. I don't know what's happened, but it's just so ridiculous that I could not help but like, it's literally, I dissolved into tears of laughter because
we're
he's
like
such a train
devolving
wreck.
into the same insanity.
We're going nuts. So what do they do about the movie? Do they just scrap it? That's what
I want them to do,
just
because
do it.
You've already paid this person for the work they've done. Now you're going to release it, and depending on their contract, give give Ezra Miller more money?
So it says
why more power for this insane person who is like abusing children?
Yeah, like this would be truly like standing up for your principles.
I would wonder if he doesn't have like I'm assuming most Hollywood is as ironic and laughable as this might be. I imagine that Hollywood contracts include morals clauses, which I imagine they laugh and giggle at every time they write a Hollywood morals clause because it's such a
I mean, I assume that's why he had to delete his Instagram account after posting all of those stories.
Yep.
That there's some clause like you can't post these certain things on social media if we disapprove of them.
Like
his dad works in publishing.
Is his mother famous? Like he
Mom was a modern dancer.
He has to have someone famous in his family, uncle, whatever, distant cousin. Like it's.
If anything, I think that this indicates he just represents more of Hollywood's amoral stance than anything.
Real.
Yep. So it says, regarding the fate of the Flash movie, Deadline says that it is up to David Zaslav of Warner Discovery. I didn't laugh that time. Where much like I reported, Warner Brothers could release the flick in theaters with the hope that the controversies will die down or release the film on HBO Max streaming service. Another possibility is similar to Johnny Depp in Fantastic Beasts situation to drop Miller from the flick while still promoting the movie. They can't do that because Johnny Depp was, they just reshot those scenes and then, or no, I'm saying they didn't do that. As when they made the third movie, they just replaced him. But he wasn't the main character in that movie. Mm-hmm. Ezra Miller, they said, first of all, this movie's already filmed and done and just waiting for release. He's in almost every scene in the movie, they said. It says he can pull back on heavily promoting the movie in summer of 2023, confining it to some P&A and no publicity tour. Or Zaslav can relegate it to streaming on HBO Max and take it as a write-down. Or lean in towards making the movie a hit and then drop Miller if they can't straighten their things out. Just you can't not promote it with him. Like what do you do? Only hire male people to do the Q&As with him just in case so he doesn't attack them?
No, get the guy that you literally can't work with demographics of people out of there. Like, get him out. Like, he's a creep. He's not even a good actor. Anyway, like he was like,
what have you seen?
Wasn't he also in an X-Men movie? No, he wasn't.
No.
I'm completely wrong. But like I saw him in the Batman movie. He was basically like, gotta go fast. It was like
he said that?
Yeah, he's basically Sanic. Yeah, so it's like, bro, like, stop.
Sanic.
He's basically Sanic. And like that meme stopped being funny a while ago.
There's no winning for Warner Brothers. The source filled in Deadline. This is an inherited problem for Zaslav. Like I said, they hope that the scandal will remain at a low level before the movie is released, and hope for the best to turn out. The funny thing about this is, if they're taking the long game, like in 9 months, like me and you might still be going nuts. Like why is this still happening? But a lot of people have short attention spans. That's a problem.
Now we're talking about on Twitter about how Amber Heard is at TJ Maxx. Like literally, that's what gets me the most.
And we'll get there
it.
in Podluck, ladies and gentlemen.
About the womp womp, but like,
womp womp womp.
Like that's what bothers me the most about it is no one cares, and this actually just reflects that he fits right in with the rest of his industry.
And this is also the other part that I wanted to call to, where I do think it has something to do with drugs. And this says, veteran DC Comics writer Grant Morrison says Ezra Miller is different now compared to when they worked together on The Flash. Recalls that the actor cut off contact with pretty much everyone for a while. It says, much like the rest of the world, the recent downward spiral of the Flash star Ezra Miller has left their one-time collaborator Grant Morrison, the legendary DC Comics scribe, with whom the actor wrote an early and ultimately unused script for the Scarlet Speedster solo outing, in a state of disbelief. The Final Crisis architect, who, like Miller, identifies as non-binary — I didn't know that about Grant Morrison. That's interesting — offered their thoughts on the actor's current rampage during a recent interview with Rolling Stone's Brian Hyatt. Given the promotion of the release of Morris's upcoming novel Luda, it says, asked by Hyatt, what do you make of Ezra Miller's current situation? Morrison replied, I know they've had these problems. I haven't spoken to them for a while, and the last time I spoke was long before this. All I can say is it's just not the person I know. I've heard stories just like this, just like everyone else. The former Batman writer continued. I just don't know. Ezra cut off contact from pretty much everyone for a while. It's not the person they were. Morrison added, they weren't aggressive in any way. I just thought Ezra was a super intelligent kid with so many talents. So all I can say is I didn't see that side in any way with them. Like, what I can see is I do think he's smart. I think he was very smart and fashioned an identity that would allow him to misbehave.
You can also hear in the way he talks still that he like kind of has a lot that he can't express.
Yep.
And I think what I was saying earlier, the interpretation that maybe he feels like he's a child.
Yeah.
And like stunted in maturity, it makes sense. Like, even though he is going about that in a way that's entirely like predatory and reprehensible, it makes sense. And what I was saying before we found out about the Tokata Iron Eyes situation and the other unnamed 12-year-old.
My God.
What I was saying before we found out about those things is that you should just put out the movie. Just put out the damn movie and just get over it and stop agonizing over it. But once we found out about these things, I was like, nope, you're done. You're done.
Burn the movie.
Yeah.
Flash never happened. I mean, who cares about Flash, really? Okay.
Literally no one.
I know.
That's like even crazier to
I
me.
disagree with you about that on the popularity of the character. The Flash.
You like Ben Affleck as Batman. Like,
I know I'm right.
Guys,
do you need to settle this outside?
We will.
Pop culture
someone
crisis
needs
outside.
to, like, literally
help
solve
Dane
this for us.
understand why he's having a troublesome time explaining to me why he's wrong.
Listen, you're really gonna have to try. You're gonna have to do like in full ye olde English essay form. I want to hear some perchance. I want to hear some words. Okay, because
it's a long way around to I'm wrong, Dane. It's a long way around to I'm wrong.
You're lucky I love you.
It's
Pop
okay.
culture crisis in the parking lot.
We're so close to a crisis party. I want to dance.
Let's do super chats, shall we?
As long as the crisis party doesn't involve Ben Affleck being bad, then yes, exactly. Go for it.
Halls and the Kids said White Boy Summer. Okay, thank you for testing that theory out. I'm glad that we still have freedom of speech on this platform. So
the one that matters.
Hobbit said, I've spent way too much money in microtransactions in video games. I've sworn never again to pay microtransactions again. Here's a minor payment.
I would be interested.
Well, thank you.
Like for like stuff like that, is that like I can't imagine doing it. Like, it's like, for me, like,
maybe you're just a more frugal person than the rest.
I'll give you an example where, like,
but also what we're doing here, like, I super chat like for like stuff that I watch, but that's different. Like, that's literally,
I don't think I have super chatted before.
In interaction, that's not the same.
Can I tell you how they've gotten me?
Yeah.
Because they have. So I play Master Duel. It's like an online server where people can play Yu-Gi-Oh. Normally a Yu-Gi-Oh deck is literally like $500 to $1,000. Here, like, if you could do like the best deck for free, and like you could do it in like a fraction of a second with like $10, let's say.
Okay.
So sometimes you open a pack, and if you get no good cards, it says, "Hey, you didn't get anything good. If you buy another pack of 10, we'll give you guaranteed one of the rarest cards." And you know, these packs expire after 24 hours. And if you know that within a day you're not going to get that money, you know, like, pay $5, get the pack, and get the rare card you want, and like go on with your day. And that's today's cope. Boom, boom, boom.
Perfect.
Thank you.
The only microtransactions I ever made were like in Club Penguin. And that was my dad's money I was like,
see, that's the problem. A lot of it is like dad's. So, it's mom and dad's money getting
that's
spent.
Where they're really getting the money.
Yep. Parents.
Someone named Dane Font said Ben Affleck sucks as Batman.
Oh my God! Give that guy a raise.
Somebody named Dane Font is a Fed. That is for sure.
A Fed?
Whoa.
Anybody who believes that Ben Affleck sucks as Batman and tells us is probably the Fed.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know how to read anything in this next one from Caper 2X.
White boy Boricua.
What is that?
Boricua is like how they call people from Puerto Rico.
Oh. And then what's the next thing he said?
Let me look it up. White boy Boricua summer, go Taino. So Taino are like the native. This person's very educated. Taino is like the native Indians in Puerto Rico. Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
That was quite a compliment.
I mean, he's saying White Boy Boricua Summer, so it's like particularly like around me, and Go Taino, so he's just basically respecting my culture. So thank you, Caper.
Okay.
They can respect your culture without, pretending like Ben Affleck sucked his Batman.
I mean,
That's
I guess
fine.
they just agree and love me, Brett.
Hey,
I guess.
If I have to be the one that's hated here for truth, then let that be my cross to bear.
I'm not sure when Waffles Sensei became Waffles Sensei the Beloved. Wow. Okay.
Boom.
But he
God.
says, every time I hear the story unfold about Miller, the Parcheesi, the cowboy costume, I literally have to stop work because I'm keeling over laughing. And then I remember he's a child
That's
abuser.
the hardest part.
Yep.
Is like, it would be hilarious if it wasn't for how freaking awful it is. Like, whenever you hear the stuff about the
You gotta laugh so you don't cry.
if you see the stuff about the cowboy, I literally picture him coming back as like the guys for like who's saying YMCA. Like, I literally picture him coming back as like an Indian chief, a construction worker. And they're just doing that. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Waffle Sensei, the Beloved, also said, people love the Flash. Dave is wrong. Fight me, Dave.
Listen, I'm okay with being wrong about that because that feels like a matter of opinion. I am not. Waffles, then tell me, tell me about Ben Affleck and Batman. I need to know. Okay? Because I'm okay with Flash. Okay, you like people going fast. Congratulations. But like, an objectively cool character being ruined by a guy that's famously hit or miss in movies. May I present to you Geely?
You're giving an example from like the 90s. What about...
Oh, okay, that disqualifies it. Grow up, Brett.
All right,
Grow
well,
up.
I'm going to go and watch The Town when
This
I'm done
is
with
getting
this.
heavy.
So I'm going to go watch The Town. And then
Can you deal with that? Can you deal with the heavy?
Yeah,
Because it's not going to stop.
it's okay. Express yourself.
Thank you.
I'll give you The Accountant. The Accountant wasn't very good. That's fine. All right, so we're going to move on. We're going to go to Podluck, and we're going to talk about The Rock once again. The Rock asked to delete any history with Logan Paul after Suicide Forest video. How do you delete history?
2017 all over.
Bro, that was like
again.
1,000 years ago. Get over it.
How do you delete history? Are they literally, is he supposed to go into the Rock browser in his head and like literally clear his browsing history?
How can The Rock be sensitive? Like, dude, your whole thing is that you do steroids and motivational quotes.
The Rock isn't sensitive. He's just out of touch, and his managers, like his PR people, are out of touch. And like, I remember when the Suicide Forest, should we even say the word suicide on
We
here?
already
we
did.
just did.
Too late.
The sewer slide forest
Nice.
video
Fixed
came
it.
out. It was kind of a media sensation because a lot of old people, like old boomers, didn't realize that YouTubers had as much influence as they did.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of terrifying that something like this was allowed on the platform. But in the midst of that, there was also a larger conversation about like YouTube censorship, and they were kind of, they used a broad brush.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it ended up like the adpocalypse happened, and like
One of the many.
there was a major overreaction and flurry of misinformation about literally just everything about this situation.
I think this was the first adpocalypse that really affected like the airsoft channels, which I always thought was hilarious. Like all the gun channels got
It was
demonetized
insane.
like early. Oh yeah, like you can't even talk about that stuff on there.
And like
without
the
being-
person who has suffered maybe the least is Logan Paul.
I know, right?
Sadly.
So it says back in 2017 when Paul was primarily a YouTuber, he made a video in Japan.
Thank
you.
you.
He made a video in Japan's Okagahara. Is that how you pronounce it? Aokagahara.
I wouldn't have the
Aoka
first
Kagara?
clue.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
It was shortly
Gahara,
before
yeah.
shortly before or after the movie about it came out.
Yeah.
The horror movie about it.
Which is also known as the Suicide Forest, as dozens of people go there every year to take their own lives. This is off topic, but there was a great movie made in like 2009 called The Bridge. I mentioned this to you earlier, not in the same context. It was about how people go to the Golden Gate Bridge to commit suicide. It's probably on some streaming platform now, but it's really worth.
And
it's
in the
really worth it.
aftermath of Logan Paul's crisis after this happened, he actually did like an interview video with someone who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge.
Wow.
And it was just like still one of the most out of touch things you've ever seen, because I genuinely think that he's just like a money making machine and doesn't have feelings, which is cool. Like, do your thing, but like,
thank you.
The reaction that was expected from him after this happened was like never gonna happen. Like you were never gonna get the apology you wanted out of Logan Paul, or the remorse that you wanted out of him.
There was, I know you're still wrong, but Dane
is like
you're still wrong.
over here.
But like I mean, no, and it's not like
Spotify listeners, I wish you could see this.
I mean, it's okay for two people to be wrong. That's fine. That's
Waffle Sensei is empirical truth.
So, like, there was no way they were ever going to be satiated with whatever response he gave.
I am.
Ever. Not him. Logan Paul.
Oh.
Dane, back to earth.
We're being serious here, Dane.
Yeah, okay, serious business.
We're talking about sewer slide.
Well, yeah, let's go.
There was a trick in rollerblading called the Pud slide that when it was first came out was first called a suicide, and then people got very angry. Because boomers.
Yeah.
So it says.
Also, I love the conversation we were having earlier about like what Logan Paul's hat is in the video.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Like weirdly related to Lightyear. Thank you for the.
That was
Crisis Party.
Thank you guys, and thank you for telling Dane that he's wrong by giving us.
Isn't this show in such great taste?
It is. It's in fantastic taste. So, so it says the video caused severe backlash with Logan losing business deals and having his YouTube account temporarily demonetized. I'm surprised he wasn't permanently demonetized at that time.
Well, because he was one of YouTube's darlings at the time.
Thank you.
Yes.
So it says, I want to get down here to what The Rock does. It says, I was extremely low mentality, and I got a call from my publicist who also repped Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and she's like, Dwayne's asked that you remove every picture and video that you've done with him, and maybe in the future the relationship can be reconciled.
Oh my God.
But for now, basically wanting nothing to do with you, which I also understood. It's got nothing to do with being reconciled. It's all a business move at that point. It's got nothing to do with reconciliation. It's all about his public image.
It's so funny to me that they brought something to Logan Paul privately and thought it would remain private.
I know.
It's Logan freaking Paul.
Yep.
He brings every beef to the forefront. Do you know that?
He says, I get it. You know, I made a grotesque error and has had things happen in it. Wait, it says, and he has had some things happen in his life where, like a lot of people, that incident affected him in a personal way. So I understood it. And there was the other part. You sleep in the bed you make, right? So he's taking responsibility for his actions. He's saying, look, I get it. Like, it's I made a grotesque error. And basically what it was is they saw, for the people who don't know, we kind of veered off topic. They saw a dead body of somebody who'd committed suicide in the forest, and
they
then
kept
they
it in the video.
It shocked them at first, and then they cracked jokes.
What I didn't like about the reaction to that was people were saying Logan Paul is a sociopath because he laughed when he was around a dead body, but it's like you only have a disproportionate reaction to something like that because it disturbs you.
Yeah,
I wouldn't ever like judge someone for their initial reaction to something like that.
Exactly.
But it's what happened afterward where he had the time to think about whether he was going to post it and posted it.
Right.
That's what you should have been mad at, not him laughing.
Yeah, it's not like he live streamed it.
I'm a nervous laugher.
No, it wasn't live streamed. It was all for a vlog that was posted later on, and they had edited it and made a thumbnail. That's the messed up part of the whole situation.
As a nervous laugher, that's literally, oh my God, like haunted me in every phase of my life where people are like, you're laughing at me, and I'm like, no, I'm not.
Like, how are you going to judge someone for laughing when they're uncomfortable?
Says Logan went on to confess that he'd received an Instagram a message from The Rock just a few months ago over a funny video he'd posted as if nothing ever happened. Like I said, it's all a business to them.
This just shows like these mothball management people really don't understand how fast-paced the internet works anymore. Like, this is barely even still part of the public consciousness. This got memory hold completely.
Like I said, I had completely, like, when the first time we'd ever covered something here on Logan Paul, somebody mentioned it, I'm like, oh,
that happened. Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of like a little panda bear too. Like I'll never forget. Like he wasn't a
bear.
Yeah, he was in a video.
Oh my God, you may be wrong about Ben Affleck, but that was great.
Thanks, man. Like I remember hitting a video. He was like, "I just have to acknowledge my white privilege and where it's gonna be in life." It's like, dude, you're a hunky dude. Like that does videos.
Remember, The Rock also like defended Joe Rogan, and then somebody's like, he said a bunch of racial slurs. He's like, never mind, I don't defend him.
These people are just like stupid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you guys see this? That do you remember Dave Chappelle got in the beef with like his local high school, the high school he went to? He went to a famous like performing arts high school, and they were going to name a theater after him, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, right as this was happening was when the closer came out, and a bunch of activists were like, "You can't give him a theater. That would be bad because he is a bad person." And Dave Chappelle's like he clearly didn't want to drag the school into it. So what he did, he gave the school an option. He held a fundraiser, and he said, look, if you feel that naming this theater after me is in good taste or you think you support it, donate to this fundraiser and leave a positive message for me in the note line, right? If you think that the theater should get made but not have my name on it, please leave a donation to the fundraiser and leave a note saying that you don't support me, the theater being named after me. And the school has now finally decided it says is honored by high school months after they heckled him. So he is getting this theater at the Duke Ellington Performing Arts High School named after him. So clearly he put his money where his mouth is. And what he did was genius, meaning that he knows that the people who are vocally against him are not going to spend money to tell them they're wrong.
Right, but that's also sort of just human psychology. You're more likely to put your money where your mouth is when you're for something rather than against.
Well, but what he's saying is that if you believe that it shouldn't be named after him, you can donate money in service of it not being named after me.
Well, people would rather just throw tomatoes from the sidelines.
If I'm donating cash, you better call it the Dane font, whatever.
They didn't come up with somebody else they wanted to name it after.
Duke Ellington School of Arts in Washington, D.C. is set to rename its performance theater after its most noted alumni. Or is it alumna when it's a single person? I always forget that.
Alumni is the plural. And
okay.
I thought alum was the singular.
The school says it's honoring Dave because of his ongoing commitment and service to the school. As we reported, Dave paid a visit to his old high school back in November when he was taking heat for his jokes about the transgender community. Things got heated when he invited students who disagreed to speak during an assembly. One student stepped up and called him a bigot, adding, "I'm 16 and I think you're childish." Some of the students wanted the school to reverse its decision on naming a building after him. Dave challenged both his supporters and his opponents, asking both sides to raise money for the school, and if the opponents raised more money, he'd gladly forego the honor of having the building renamed after him. So I think that was that was a fourth dimensional chess move on his part.
Or whoever came up with it. As you said, it might not have been him.
Whatever member of his camp came up with that idea should hopefully get a raise. As it turns out, his supporters raised the most money, so the building will be called the Dave Chappelle Theater. So he gave the school an out. And I think that was really, really smart. So hopefully that maybe more people can come up with something like this when these types of pushbacks happen, which always come off to me as particularly inorganic because they just never feel like it's actually the majority that are saying this. It's very loud, very boisterous, and very small portions of the population that say these things.
Dude, it's not even like a fraction of a percentage of the people that send emails. It's like people are so weak-spirited that they get 3 heinous emails, and instead of being an adult and deleting them and being like, I'm gonna go get Chick-fil-A, they changed their entire corporate strategy.
Very stupid.
That's what puzzles me about the situation we're in right now, because I'm wondering what things are going to be like when Gen Z is like running PR firms and marketing teams and social media.
If you just want to watch the world burn, just send messages that are negative.
Kids like don't care anymore. Like it.
What do you mean?
Like Gen Z is like the most polarized about like how you react to these things, but also like I think we have been so desensitized to it that we're not going to sit there like a boomer and see one negative reaction and blow it out of proportion like we saw with The Rock. And in this case, it's like we just have a sense of proportionality in that way.
Probably comes from being raised in the internet age.
Yeah, and a sense of how fast-paced it is. we're not going to see one negative comment and believe that it's a disaster.
Yeah.
Like a brand disaster.
I think that's probably a huge benefit that comes from being raised in a time where your entire life social media has been a thing.
You know how fleeting it is. And when you've been the person sending some negative tweet or you've been the person hitting dislike on a YouTube Rewind video, like, you know how insignificant your input actually is.
Yep.
So I'm just curious about, like, where things are going to go once Gen Z is like all out of college and we're going to like start taking over these jobs.
Because they're not going to be taking
pure
it,
chaos.
They won't be taking it from boomers. They'll be taking it from Gen Xers and millennials.
Yeah,
soon.
yeah.
I'll tell you where it's gonna go. It's gonna go wherever their therapists tell them. It's gonna go.
That's true.
Like,
and the therapist gets paid
Least emotionally stable.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, am I better now? Nope. Come back next week. You're still broken.
All right. Are you ready for womp, womp, womp?
Womp, womp.
Womp, womp, womp. Okay, so it says, Amber Heard shopping at TJ Maxx with sister as $8.3 million judgment looms. Womp, womp.
This just like raises my suspicion that she's eventually gonna be my ex-girlfriend. Like, I'm telling you. Like, if there's anything,
I doubt it. She probably liked Ben Affleck as Batman, so you might.
Who cares? I can look past that.
For her, but not for me. Now I'm hurt.
I mean, anyway,
I don't quite have her hips, but you know, I'm working on it.
I don't want to get into that.
So,
but
Amber Heard is facing a stark and expensive reality after the Johnny Depp trial, namely that she could be, namely that she could be on the hook for millions. So it's no surprise she's out bargain hunting. I don't buy this. Okay, you want to read your article? You want to read?
Yeah, sure.
So somebody named Mary Morgan wrote her own opinion piece on this. Would you like to lead the conversation?
Totally.
I've heard she's based and red-pilled.
At first, I just want to address what she was wearing at TJ Maxx. It's very everyman. She's got this white button down with baggy mom jeans.
House painting.
Yep, and open-toed shoes.
That's not house painting, but the rest of it is.
She's wearing an Apple Watch, big top knot on her head. I'm not personally a fan, but she's trying to look humble.
Yes.
Okay?
I'm not a hot Hollywood actress. I'm just like you guys.
Mm-hmm. So, rumor has it,
if you
word on
shat
street
the bed
is
and mentally abused your husband.
your career shat the bed.
That's exactly what happened.
So, my instinct is it's a PR stunt. She's trying to appear that she's broke, struggling, she can't get work.
I got to shop in the bargain rack.
She's shopping with all the ordinary people at the discount rack.
Us plebs.
She's a pleb, just like us.
I gotta intervene. There
ahead.
is literally just something about chicks and TJ Maxx. I don't know what. I think we should generally put some money into research about it.
My mom loved TJ Maxx.
I know. I know. Like I don't even know her, and I know.
Now, another thing I wanted to mention is, like, this was stupid. Some people on Twitter were like, oh, and TMZ just happened to be hanging out in TJ Maxx too. Like, they thought that she called ahead and was like, TMZ paparazzi, go to TJ Maxx and then I'm going to walk in and you're going to take a video of me. That's not what happened. People take videos and then they send them to TMZ.
Yep. I do like the idea that
I'm like getting weirdly heated about it.
I do love the idea that there's just like a TMZ photographer in there who just like he just happens to shop there and he's like, what the hell?
People call ahead for paparazzi all the time.
Yeah.
I just don't think this is one of those things. She knows that people are like way more likely to recognize her in public than they were before because this trial has like majorly inflated her face and name recognition.
Do you think that her like publicist like PR team was like, you should go to a thrift store, and she's like, I'm not doing that. You're gonna have to go like a couple
come
steps.
up with something.
You're gonna have to go.
No,
like,
okay, TJ Maxx, and she's like, still no.
Poor people
like, TJ
stuff.
Maxx
I'm not doing
in
that.
the Hamptons.
Yes.
And she's like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer because I love thrift shopping, and I would have loved to see Amber Heard, looking at bowls in the thrift store or buying like a Live, Laugh, Love poster for her house.
Like the one thing that might be like, okay, this is fake. She's not in the candles section smelling every single one.
That's always what my mom bought too, candles.
I'm telling you, like as women do, they just like smell the candles and they pull it up to you and be like, do you like this one? And I'm like, yes, I like all of them. They're designed to smell nice. What do you want me to do? Sorry.
Women love getting faint from smelling candles.
You know,
TJ Maxx.
There's some scars that are coming back up, guys. I'm sorry that I'm having to do this live with you.
But
we're a
it's
family.
okay. We're raw and we're real.
Do you think that Depp?
This isn't the vlog.
Do you think that Depp waives the fee? They've been talking about like them waiving the fee because his goal was to clear his name. His goal wasn't to get paid.
Yeah, because I mean, even his lawyers have already hinted that they're not planning on collecting the full damages, and it's not like if they tried, they would be able to, because even at the highest estimate of her net worth, it still doesn't equal the damages that would be collected.
And then he kind of looks like the bad guy for collecting.
Yeah, then you can milk that PR angle even more.
The good PR was worth way more to him
right.
than the money.
What I said was like the real victory for Johnny Depp was the restoration of his reputation, and it ultimately doesn't matter whether he collects those damages in full or not.
There's so many TikTok videos now of various people doing the Jack Sparrow run. It's my new favorite thing. Like the first one I saw was like a supposed Amazon worker doing a Jack Sparrow run. The new one was a Dunkin' Donuts worker doing a Jack Sparrow run. It's fantastic.
I mean, it's better than the nurses.
Yes.
He's definitely back in the good graces of the public.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And also there were a lot of people who were very cynical about this outing that Amber Heard did because they see through the PR stunts. But then other people were leaning towards her side. I don't know what's real on Twitter anymore or what's fake.
None of it's real. It's all fake.
Yeah, maybe it's all just bots arguing with each other. But some people were like, oh, now we're shaming celebs for shopping at TJ Maxx. What happened to them being normal people like us?
They're not normal people like us.
We weren't advancing that narrative. They were. Yep. That was never us.
Celebrities, they're just like us. Look, they go get smoothies too.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Someone else said last week, Amber Heard was too rich and could afford a private jet, which meant she'd have no problem paying Johnny Depp. But now she's so broke, she's shopping at TJ Maxx and is being ridiculed for it. So what's the narrative y'all are going with next week?
Remember the house she was living in when she was out here? Like when she was in...
Yeah, $22,000 a month.
Yeah, like rental house with like a tennis court. Yeah. So...
she's not broke. She's not even close to broke.
They should have sent a picture of her like pretending to stay at a Best Western. Like,
yeah.
Somebody snaps a picture of her looking really forlorn on a bed. She's like, I don't want to crap on this bed. It's already bad enough. I'm not doing that. Like,
I have no idea where her net worth actually stands, but she'll be doing just fine. And as I concluded, she can always rest on her laurels with Space Daddy at the helm.
Just call up Space Daddy and ask him for some
Literally
of that sweet Tesla money.
Brett, I had an epiphany.
What?
She's at TJ Maxx buying candles because she shot the bed and she needs like the smell to get rid of.
New sheets too. New sheets. Perfect.
Do we just understand everything?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell's going on?
That's why she feels so comfortable doing it, because she knows she can get the replacements for cheap.
PCC, your number one source of news.
Yes.
On
exactly.
Mondays.
I love that that's still like
on Mondays
to the sands of time. Like we didn't get the conclusion on that particular instance after the trial.
I don't really.
They both like ended it with their side.
Yep. I don't.
Like, it was the dog. No, it was you.
It was the dog. Like
I
like the idea that it was both of them.
What was the truth?
That it was her and the dog at the same time.
What about the bee?
And her dog stepped on a bee.
Step on a bee.
She's just
like
that was a great moment.
It's all just it's too much.
By the way,
buy one get one free.
My dad needs to pee.
Chrysler.
Yeah.
By the way, I also agree with you that like I love how much people are schmoes and they just ate all the Johnny Depp's like, haha, he's perfect, isn't he? He's like delightful. It's like I'm sure like.
Yeah, I'm tired of the whole thing.
Yep.
I'm fatigued with the whole story.
This was only good because want.
Yeah, which is why I wrote about it.
Agreed.
All right, super chats.
Yes. Halls and the Kids said, TJ Maxx is for women that want to pretend they're thrifty but are too good to walk into an actual thrift store. Fight me.
Oh.
Dude, Jessica's just right about everything.
And there's a couple more up there. There's even one with Waffle Sensei being wrong, unfortunately.
So C Hobbit says, I see two main ways of getting caught by microtransactions, cosmetic and power. You want to look cool or be the best. Both are stupid, as ultimately it's a bunch of pixels on the screen. Reality is gone.
Yeah, like
I agree.
You could make the argument, like, what if I spent that money on, like, myself in the real world? Like, would that help?
My only answer to that is, like, we're potentially in a simulation, and that we would be also pixels as well.
Oh,
so
okay.
Spending money on yourself is also irrelevant.
So every time,
Dane is a monk.
Every time you buy, like, clothes in the real world, you're just buying aesthetic microtransactions for yourself.
Is everything an NFT? Durr! I'm okay.
Are we an NFT?
Whoa, guys.
This is getting too.
All right, there's one more.
Waffle Sensei the Beloved said, unfortunately, I didn't like Affleck Batman, but the portrayal did remind me a bit of old school Justice League Batman, just not as cool.
Well, you know, it's okay to end the day with two people being wrong. That's fine.
Yeah, you and who else?
Well, I mean, yeah, you, Waffle Sensei in the
What's
menu.
up, guys? We're
Dane
vibing.
is gyrating for anyone who isn't watching.
We are vibing with the facts.
All right, guys. So now that we know that Dane and Waffle Sensei are wrong, I wanted to thank all of you for coming today. Dane, tell everyone where they can find you on social media so they too can tell you that you were wrong about Ben Affleck Batman.
Hey, guys, look at me. At Dane Fawn on Twitter.
Tell him he's wrong about Ben Affleck Batman, please.
Why would you?
That would make me feel very good. Mary, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and WeChat at Closer Kitty, and whenever I post articles on timcast.com, I promote them there. Today is about TJ Maxx Womp Womp.
TJ Maxx Womp Womp Womp. And luckily, you will not have to hear anything about Ben Affleck Batman when Mary's talking because she doesn't care.
I do not care.
Guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at Brett Dasovic. Come to tell me how right I was about Ben Affleck Batman. Please don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
Slide
it's
in
fine.
the DMs.
Slide into the DMs to talk about Ben Affleck Batman. That's fine. For the show, Monday through Friday. Thank you. Do you want to read that one real quick?
Let's see it. Waffle Sensei the Beloved and Empirical says, I'm never wrong, Brett. Nice try. Read my name.
Waffle Sensei, the Beloved and empirically wrong at certain times. Thank you thank you for the super chat. I accept that you guys can have your opinion. We can disagree here. That's fine. It's all right. Guys, you can follow me on Instagram at Brett Dasovic. Like I said, for the show, Monday through Friday here on YouTube, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. Grab a Cali burrito or tacos from Street Truck. Come and watch the show. We appreciate it very much. We are also on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, or Spotify if you would prefer to listen to this madness rather than watch the madness. I understand that as well.
Why would you? We're so cute.
That's... Well, I'm always like, I have a face for radio, but that's fine. You can also find us on social media. We are on Twitter at popculture_show. We are on Facebook and TikTok at popculturecrisis, and we are on Instagram at popculturecrisispod. We will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys. Bye.
Bye.